stop. This is where we are today. Let's take a step back. We've known rising emissions were going to be a problem since the 1970s. Leading scientists told us that burning fossil fuels would lead to rising global temperatures. State-of-the-art equipment was used to take measurements of carbon dioxide in the ocean. And that research was being conducted by none other than ExxonMobil. So Exxon knew. Since 1979, Exxon knew the threat burning fossil fuels posed for our climate. If the science is so clear, why did Exxon and other fossil fuel companies continue emitting carbon for decades? Under capitalism, fossil fuel companies will stop at nothing to turn our natural world into profit, destroying our only home for money. Every car on the road, every light switch turned on, every flight ticket bought, puts money in their pockets. And business as usual will continue until someone forces them to change. For a while, the fight against impending climate disaster didn't have a clear enemy in the public eye. Climate change was an abstract concept in the distant future. And we didn't have any real policy solutions on the table. Eventually, things began to click. People began to realize that, under capitalism, fossil fuel companies will stop at nothing to turn our natural world into profit, destroying our only home for money. Every car on the road, every light switch turned on, every flight ticket bought, puts money in their pockets. And business as usual will continue until someone forces them to change. The fight against rising emissions right now is a lot about the fight against the fossil fuel companies that are directly causing the problem. The enemy is clear, and a policy solution is finally on the table. It's called the Green New Deal. And the Green New Deal is quickly moving into the public consciousness.
Green New Deal.
Green New Deal. Green New Deal.
Green New Deal.
If we have the solution ready to go, what's stopping us from making the changes we need to avert the worst of the climate catastrophe? The fossil fuel industry has consolidated political power within government. They routinely buy out politicians by funding their campaigns to get them elected. Donald Trump has already taken $2 million in his 2020 presidential campaign. Some Republicans in Congress have also taken over $1 million in donations. And many Democrats are guilty too. Nancy Pelosi referred to the Green New Deal as the Green Dream or whatever, and that's probably because she took nearly $1 million from the fossil fuel industry. They also pour billions of dollars into lobbying. In 2018 alone, ExxonMobil spent $31 million. They essentially wrote climate legislation. BP is the same. They spent $16 million in lobbying. And it's because, under capitalism, fossil fuel companies will stop at nothing to turn our natural world into profit, destroying our only home for money. Every car on the road, every light switch turned on, every flight ticket bought, puts money in their pockets. And business as usual will continue until someone forces them to change. What kind of future are our children going to have? What kind of world are they going to live in?
¿Qué hacemos en la cafetería cuando terminamos de comer?
Compost. We compost.
¿Y qué más?
We recycle trash out into every landfill.
En landfill. ¿Y reusan esas cosas? Sí, las reusan.
So he's filling up his car with water instead of gas.
Clean and healthy stuff.
Yeah, and that means no packaging. It means it's grown right in your community where you live.
We want a healthy environment, and we want there to be lots of sun, and clean water, and we want it to be like green and like bright, not all like gray, dark, like polluted. So we have our tree here.
If so many kids know the truth about climate change, why aren't our politicians listening? People are rising up every day. This is what it looks like when people come together and refuse to let profit-hungry corporations wreak havoc. People are blocking pipeline construction here in North Carolina and all over the East Coast. The largest climate strikes in history happened on September 20th. Over 4 million people protested climate inaction, demanding that our world leaders align policy with best available science. On December 6th, millions of Americans take to the streets, demanding that their politicians begin making a Green New Deal a reality.
This is like we are too small. They want us to feel like we are too young.
Our generation sees the two paths we can be on. On one path, corporations and governments will continue to cause massive destruction and death of both our natural environment and of humans for profit. On the other path, people come together to demand the system change necessary to build a better and more sustainable future for each other and for our Earth. The path we take will determine the future for all of us.